From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
It's almost guaranteed that this is going to be part of our future.
The weight of destruction, how Montanans and the nation are responding to strikes on Iran, led by the United States.
We still are starting to find family photos. My kids, my wife. That's my whole life right there. That's my home.
Holding family close, 1 week after powerful storms destroyed their home. We'll take a look at how a Shepherd family is moving forward.
I think youthfulness is more of like the spirit you have.
And giving his final bow, what a high school grad's performance in Red Lodge means for him as he embarks into a new era. Those stories, much more coming up in the next half hour. Good morning to you and welcome to Montana This Morning. It is Monday, June 23rd, even though it doesn't feel like it out there. I'm Don Hudson along with Miller Robson, who's got some explaining to do.
I'm sorry, it's my fault. Yeah.
You told us it was coming, so it's not like it was a surprise.
Some snowy conditions yesterday. Cook City, reports of about 6 inches up on the mountain yesterday.
I was there.
Yeah, you got caught in that, but we're coming out of it. We have some beautiful weather on the way. Could still see some daily showers and thunderstorms, and temperatures will start to get warmer. Now, yesterday we were almost 20 degrees below average here in Billings. Our high getting up to 60. Our low of 44, about 10 degrees below the norm. Top gust yesterday, 31 miles an hour. We could still have definitely breezy conditions over 20 mile an hour gusts. Now, if you get any of these little isolated storms that could pop up, we definitely could see some gusty winds. Precipitation yesterday, about half an inch. So for the month, we're still slightly in the hole. Since Friday, we've had about 9/10 of an inch officially at the airport, so that helped make a dent in that deficit column. But for the year, we're still in really good shape. Temperatures this morning, we do have some 30s, like White Sulphur Springs, just above the freezing mark at 33. We got Harlingen at 39, 39 and Roundup. Down in Red Lodge, we're at 35, 38 in Cody. But the rest of us into the 40s. We're at 42 right now here in Billings. A very nice start out there. Some of us, like Miles City, dealing with a little bit of fog this morning, so watch out during your morning commute. Winds currently are calm, but that is a beautiful day on the way. Look at that day planner with lots of sunshine, below average temperatures, but we are getting warmer. Some of us could hit 90 on Thursday. We'll tell you who coming up.
What a contrast. By the way, that's from my car.
Is that from
yesterday?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
When you were thinking, wait, I had the air conditioner on when I left. And now
things change.
I had the heat on.
Yeah.
Yes,
all right.
Just a little sample for anyone who didn't get any snow yesterday.
Okay.
All right, Miller, thank you very much.
All
right, we begin with our eyes on Washington today. President Trump expected to meet with his national security team. This after the U.S. military launched strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. The Pentagon says more than 125 aircraft, that includes B-2 bombers, were used in the mission and that its goals were accomplished. Now the U.S. is pushing for peace and a return to negotiations with Iran, even as the president and his top advisors voice differing viewpoints on whether there should be a regime change in that country. Bradley Blackburn has more.
This morning, mixed messages on Iran. On social media Sunday, President Donald Trump wrote, "It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change?" He posted hours after his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said this on CBS News Face the Nation.
What we are focused on is not the changing of the regime. Okay, that's up to the Iranian people.
Saturday's strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites were codenamed Operation Midnight Hammer. A White House official tells CBS News President Trump gave the final go-ahead from Marine One that same day during a call with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
The battle damage assessment is ongoing, but our initial assessment, as the chairman said, is that all of our precision munitions struck where we wanted them to strike and had the desired effect.
Satellite images show the aftermath of the strikes on Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. The president claimed on social media that monumental damage was done, with the largest damage far below ground level.
I knew in advance.
Yesterday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu acknowledged that he was given a heads up about the strikes. He says his country is close to achieving its goals in the conflict as Israel and Iran continue trading strikes. Anti-war protests popped up around the U.S. Sunday as the White House now calls for diplomacy with Iran over its nuclear program. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Now, Iran has vowed to respond to the U.S. strikes. President Trump says any retaliation from Iran will be met with force far greater than Saturday's strikes. A bulletin from the Department of Homeland Security, by the way, says there is a heightened threat environment here in the United States now following those strikes, warning of possible cyber attacks or violence from extremists. All right, already this morning, sirens sounded in Haifa and Jerusalem as reports of another volley of missiles from Iran head into Israel. Residents were seen taking shelter during the alert. Iran's Revolutionary Guard say that they are changing tactics in their attacks, targeting spots from the north to the south, including Tel Aviv and Haifa, with drones and missiles. Now, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised the U.S. getting involved, but there is some bipartisan backlash that lingers this morning over whether President Trump acted constitutionally or unconstitutionally in this. It's also a move that has Montana's political contingent and political professors weighing in. With more on that, here's our Isabel Spartz.
An act that surprised the world.
I was in absolute shock.
On Saturday, President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. had bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran after ongoing attacks between Israel and the country.
This is not something you can drop a couple of bombs on and walk away from.
The president has warned Iran not to retaliate, and it's a move backed by Montana Senator Tim Sheehy. The former U.S. Navy SEAL called it the right decision in a social media post, saying, "This isn't starting a war, this is ending one. The Iranian people should rise up and put an end to this murderous regime." But the attack is garnering debate surrounding the constitutionality of the president's attacks, with many Democratic leaders and even some Republicans condemning Trump.
Every single significant military operation the United States has ever taken out, from George Washington until just before yesterday, has had some form of congressional authorization.
Dr. Paul Pope, MSU Billings professor of political science and constitutional law, says that without Congress's approval, the strikes could be unconstitutional.
You can't get any more violation of the Constitution than this. Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution grants to Congress the ability to declare war. Essentially, what Congress's role here is to decide who, what, when, and where. The only role for the president as commander-in-chief in such things is to decide the how.
Despite those questions, Montana's other senator, Steve Daines, stands behind the president, saying stopping Iran's pursuit of nuclear weapons is a major step towards achieving peace.
I think people should pay attention to how their members of Congress behave with this.
But now Congress and the world waits. The scale at which Iran retaliates is yet to be known. But according to Pope, it could be the beginning of a long and tumultuous conflict back in the Middle East.
The extent, we can't predict that. I mean, how much, but logic dictates that there will be some reprisals and Americans will lose their lives because of this initiated attack by Donald Trump.
In Billings, Isabel Spartz, MTN News.
Hundreds of cars gathered over the weekend in the Billings Heights area to honor the life of a Laurel teenager and raise money for a scholarship program in her name. Lexy Pyle was killed as a passenger in a 2-vehicle crash back in 2021. In the years since that tragic accident, her family has set up the Love for Lexy Foundation to honor her memory. The foundation awards scholarships to students who want to go to medical school, as Lexy was planning to do herself. Cars slowly made their way into the All-American Pharmaceutical parking lot as a fundraiser for that foundation. Also, images of yellow sunflowers were seen all throughout that show. It was Lexy's favorite flower, and the color her sister, Taylor Dunn, says best represents her bright personality.
Every time she walked into a room, her smile lit up the room. Like, everyone just dropped and was happy.
Now, this was the second year for the car show. The Ride Out Car Club of Montana says it wanted to find a way to give back to the community. Ever since, they've helped bring more awareness to safe and sober driving.
Fortunate that somebody had to lose their life in a situation to bring the community together like this. So we've chosen this family to work with, and what a better opportunity to do it for a family that is involved in the car scene as well.
The foundation, by the way, has given out 4 scholarships just this year, by the way, each worth $500. By now, you've seen the damage, the lingering impact from a powerful wind and hailstorm that just ripped through the Shepherd area. You can still see that damage even a week later. The storm left one family without a home and with only seconds to spare to actually seek safety when this all rolled in. The roof came off, walls caved in, and their lives were changed really in a matter of minutes. MTN's Marcus Kakova shows us what they're facing now and who's helping them pick up the pieces.
Even from afar, the devastation is unmistakable.
We're cleaning up roofing material that blew off of the house that we just got done picking up.
It's up close. The water-stained drawings from the fridge, toys spiked by fiberglass, family photos ripped and faded. You understand how much in this heap was once precious.
Even after 5 days of cleanup, we still are starting to find family photos of our son and of pictures with Santa.
The heartache of what was lost by the Dalton family is being felt beyond these collapsed walls as neighbors from across Montana step in to help.
I picked up Legos and I picked up a doll and said, "Can I save this for her, for one of their children?" And she said no, because it's damaged. They can't play with that again, and that could have been one of their special dolls. I don't know.
Sandra Kelly, HR manager at WMK, where Joseph Dalton once worked, helped organize the cleanup effort.
The clothes broke my heart. It just, all those little kids' clothes, food. I know what it costs nowadays. I have brand new furniture, beds, everything. Everything in my house I'm giving to them.
But it isn't just new furniture or a helping hand being donated.
We're hoping to try to get the community together and businesses around the area to donate materials necessary to rebuild a house for these guys.
Brian Ryder, co-owner of U.S. Roof and Restoration, knows what it means to start over. He lost his own home in a fire a few years ago.
When I seen what happened here, I remembered the feeling that I had in my gut, in my spirit, in my mind, of how difficult that was to clean up all of my work by myself.
While there's a long way to go, Joseph Dalton says what really matters made it out.
My kids, my wife, that's my whole life right there. That's my home.
Marcus Kakova, MTN News.
Marcus, thank you very much. At the Lazy Souza Ranch here in Montana, family extends beyond humans. It also includes the animals. Montana, in this week's Montana Ag Report, let me point that out, MTN's Carolyn Weiss checks out how the ranch, which is just outside Missoula, has raised horses, has raised cows, and it's raised people.
It's anything but lazy at the Lazy Souza Ranch in the 9 Mile, where all sorts of animals like these are growing up.
Always big helpers around here.
And Kate Souza, who now runs the ranch, grew up right alongside them.
This is a family ranch. We've been raising horses and cows for, I think since 1982.
It started with Tennessee walking horses, a smooth riding breed.
Horses have been a passion of mine since I was little. My mom says I was born with it. You know, instead of going skiing, I wanted to go ride my horse.
Like many Montana kids, she got into the agriculture business early. Blue, an old black mare, and Souza's 4-H project is still out here in the fields.
She is 28, I believe, this year. She was the first horse I ever trained by myself.
Since taking the reins of the family ranch, Souza has taken on some new projects.
I always joke that if you're going to have cows, have cool cows.
In 2006, she started raising Scottish Highland cattle. Now she has about 25 horses and 50 Highland cows.
I love to give halter lessons and try to make them pets. Okay, guys.
Animals born at Lazy Souza end up all over as pets, riding horses, dairy cows, and more.
I ship all across the nation, and most of my buyers have, small ranchettes, and they want something to keep the grass down and a conversation piece.
So, while it's a lot of work for one person, Souza is dedicated to preparing the next generation of animals for their handlers and their new lives in Montana and beyond.
I used to joke with raising baby horses is like cheating. You get a relationship with them, they trust you, you're friends, they get respect, and then you go and you ride them, and it's like, okay, friend, where are we going? And it's just kind of a more positive experience all the way around, and they just take care of you and enjoy adventuring with you. You guys are so not helpful. And cows are the same. Cows are fun. The more time you spend with them, the more personal they get. So it's like anything. They're just really fun, lovable creatures.
In Hudson, Caroline Weiss, MTN News.